We're back here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, Sunday night action yet again. I'm John Rallis alongside my co-host, the Hall of Famer Randy Waples, and I'm just starting to feel like my day's just beginning. We finished the show last night. We ended up closing it out on a high, getting Axial, thank God. He got the job done to avoid the goose egg.
It was pretty dry up till then.
It definitely was pretty dry. Then I got home and the insomnia hit. And I was
You couldn't sleep?
I was up till 5 in the morning.
Oh, no way.
Thought, should I just hoping maybe I'll fall asleep. Just started watching replays from the last week again, here, Meadowlands. Just keep the brain sharp. Still couldn't sleep. Next thing you know, I wake up 5 minutes after kickoff in the Ravens-Steelers game.
Oh, no.
I think I fell asleep at, 5:30?
No way.
And I just barely got any sleep. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Best way I could say for you to deal with insomnia, go on YouTube. There's a channel there called Harness Dom, all one word.
Okay.
You want replays? You'll get replays. You'll get them all the way back to Dan Patch, my friend. You
Really?
all the way back to Greyhound.
That's a long time.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Long time.
All the way back to when Rick Zeron just first started
Now,
driving. That's how far back it goes.
Are you saying it's going to put me to sleep because it's just pretty boring?
It's
Is that what you mean?
No, it's just that it's just one replay after another. I love them.
There are some nights, Randy,
Yeah,
I just
I know.
can't get
It was the same when I drove.
Yeah. I don't know if it is. Sometimes you come home from the track and you still have 1 or 2 hours left of you where you're just kind of just energized. You just can't sleep. Then,
I just think you just get jazzed up or whatever.
Yeah.
And last night there, like I said, I could see you having a tough time sleeping there because, like I said, up till the last race there, we were having a lousy night.
Yeah, it's almost like plenty of reason to celebrate after we got that victory off the board, right? So,
and it wasn't even looking good at the head of the lane. Somebody who
Doc
took
Ernest
off.
raced really well.
Right, Doc's Ernest. I thought he had his.
We had some luck too. Linus Dookie making up, unfortunately putting in a step. He would have been a big factor at the head of the lane had he stayed pacing. But,
first time James.
We're gonna look to first time James. We're gonna look to carry on the momentum though from last night to tonight. Hopefully, an interesting card. I think some horses we can heavily rely on tonight. Personally,
I do too.
Yeah.
And plus, we get to see that the open trot's always nice. It's always nice to see an open when it's got really really nice horses in there, and
Too
we
bad
got a
of the
nice
scratch,
one, Logan
though.
Park. Unbelievable.
Especially the way Safe Conduct has been racing. It's too bad.
Yeah. Did you notice if it was a sick scratch? I didn't notice if it was.
No, I didn't actually.
I'm just hoping that it's either sick or transportation because he doesn't, he doesn't usually have a lot of starts every year. This guy,
Okay.
16 last year and already at 12 so far this year. But yeah, it would have been nice to see him in there. It's going to be an interesting race now because of the way that they drew out Hasty Bid on the outside, Logan Park down on the inside. This is going to be
I
interesting.
think we're going to see Logan Park on the engine tonight potentially.
I would say that
no
there's a
outside
good
draw
chance.
tonight, and it was a transportation scratch thanks to Jason.
Good. Thank you, producer Jason. Yes.
Yep. And so
Producer Jason.
Producer Jason. That's
Yes,
right.
yes.
That's right. I forgot that title. We'll say it a few more times throughout the night, don't you? But Logan Park, I think he'll be on the engine. Better draw to work with tonight.
They got to stretch him out here soon. I love the fact that they kind of reprogrammed him for a bit. I think the horse is cracking good right now. Let him roll.
Yep, I would have to say as well. It's going to be easier too with the short field now.
Yeah.
Field of 5, still some really good trotters there. Like
yeah.
you mentioned, Hasty Bid looked dynamite last time out, so that's going to be race number 2. But what we did last night, Randy, was we previewed one of the O'Brien Award divisions. We're going to do that yet again. We're going to preview a couple of divisions.
2-year-old trotting colts last night.
2-year-old trotting colts. We'll focus on the 2-year-old pacing fillies as well as the 2-year-old trotting fillies. We'll start off on the pacing side here first, and we'll look at the top 5 money earners. Again, this is solely on Canadian soil, what they've earned on Canadian soil. And Adea leading the way, just over $30,000 ahead of a clean deal. She's a bulldog. Also on that list, Gentilly as well as Naughty Delight. I know the top 2 were kind of like the talk of the town here in the provincial program. She's a bulldog, closing out her 2-year-old campaign with a big win in the 3 Diamonds at the Meadowlands, though, right? Wasn't able to earn that money here on Canadian soil. But I tell you what, Randy, next year she could definitely be a bigger factor if she's going to partake in this OSS program, because the way she closed out her year, we saw it here. Remember when Bob McClure guided her to a couple of nice finishes there, then picking up the 3 Diamonds victory, going by Lua Deepa like she was standing still. I have a feeling she's going to be a big player next year if she has a lot of starts here in the provincial program.
Well, and two, if I'm not mistaken, right from the very beginning, isn't this the one that Ronnie Burke said was the best one? Mm-hmm. She was the best one, So, and then she never really showed it up here, but in the FanDuel, what was that? The
3 Diamonds,
final, 3 Diamonds. She looked incredible, So I agree with you. I mean, now she's going to probably be shut down, give some time to grow. you know, and get back going again. Be interesting to see what comes up with, because obviously they've liked her right from day one.
She could be the best without a doubt, but the top two in the provincial program definitely were Day and A Clean Deal. Anytime these two hooked up, you know, they were the ones who were taking all the support, and they were the ones that, you know, many people pegged as the top contenders. We're going to look at Dea first, a Jack Darling trained filly who, you know, daughter of Bulldog Hanover. Jack wanted to make it a point of emphasis to just get to Bulldog Hanover progeny. This filly really stepped up, and she impressed us. She had a pretty heavy workload. I think she had 12 starts this year as a rookie, and we're going to get a chance to see her. I think this is, we're going to start with a Clean Deal, I should say. Sorry, I thought we were going to start with the Dea. This is going to be a Clean Deal's super final victory here. This filly, though, Randy, I mean, Rob Fellows said that they thought she was just average during the breaking process. She proved to be much more than that.
Yeah, well, I can remember like Bob McIntosh telling me there that he just kind of looked at the LA Delight as being the same kind of a thing in the breaking process, training down, just kind of an average kind of a horse, you know. So a lot of times, you know, they can play a little bit of possum until they get under the lights. That was the big saying years ago for all the veterans out there, and that was our big saying, right? We'll see what they're like when they get under the lights. And sometimes horses change. You know, when they come in there, they get jazzed up, and then all of a sudden they like the racing experience, and they keep going forward. I thought Dea was incredible. Like, I mean, everything about her was incredible. But I'm honestly going to say, man, I truly think between the two of them, all right, I would give the edge to A Clean Deal. And I'm not even saying like a real close edge. I think A Clean Deal was cleanly the better of the two.
You've mentioned that on a few occasions, and I think it's interesting because she's only had, I think, 7 starts this year. I want to say 7 or 8. And remember, you know, Rob and Doug were, you know, kind of talking about the biggest thing is how do you keep her fit throughout, because she wasn't staked anything. She had a lot of golds, and that's basically what she raced in. She competed in golds all throughout the year, and she still was razor sharp. She only had one poor effort. It was a tough trip, but she never quite looked her best. Every start was a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I kind of got to give her a little bit of a lean, and that's a close a close
really
division.
Close. Yeah, it is
very
close.
close. You could go either way. I'm just saying the way I would go, I would probably, you know, lean towards A Clean, only because I just found that any time that they were both on their game on a good rotation and they faced each other, it always seemed to me like A Clean Deal would come out ahead.
I think this might be the. I think this is going to be the closest, you know, division here, just between these two. I think they're going to get the bulk of
2-year-old Payson Colts.
I think that's. I don't know how close that one's going to be, though. We'll get to that in the future, in the coming days. But we'll look at Dea. Speaking of her, we'll take a look at her Battle of the Bells victory. She did it so easily, Randy. I mean, she, you know, obviously there were some big fractions there. Again, you could see Jody was able to get to the lead, but this filly, a little bit headstrong throughout the course of her rookie campaign, but the speed carried through with it, though. This is a fast filly, and I'm looking forward to see how she's going to progress coming into her sophomore campaign.
Yeah, to me, that's the biggest thing that she brought is just pure speed, you know, absolutely pure speed, no doubt about that. You know, both of them, like I said, had an incredible season, you know. You know, you can't go wrong picking either one.
You can't go wrong picking either one. Again, her start count really picked up as well. She was 4th in the Breeders' Crown final this year. A nice showing by her in what was a obviously a very tough division. But I mean, it's a lot of starts, right? Even, I mean, Jack's even mentioned it's a lot of starts for a you know, a rookie. But she's raced tough all season long. Again, she had one clunker. That was like A Clean Deal. She really had that one effort where I think she just backed through the field. Just a really, for her standards, a poor effort. But again, just a really good rookie campaign for her.
Yeah. No, for sure. Really strong division. And we're not even talking about a couple of these other ones down on the bottom. Jen Tilley had a really good season. And Naughty Delight, I'm not 100% sure if Naughty Delight, you know, couldn't have went with any one of them there. She just didn't seem to stick around as long.
Still has some maturing, and the steering issues cost her a lot too, though.
Yeah.
She could have picked up even more money if not for the steering issues. But how about Jen Tilley? You mentioned her, quietly over 200,000 this year. Another Burke trained filly that's really had a solid year here racing in Ontario. Again, it just goes to show money to be made here. Money to be made, and we've got a lot of talent here that we get a chance to see each and every year. We're going to look at some 2-year-old trotting fillies here, and we're going to take a look at this list. And leading the pack is going to be Storybook Love. And of course, you know, that Breeders' Crown victory, obviously pumping up the purse earnings. I don't know, though. Now, I got to go double check. I don't know if the Breeders' Crown earnings on Canadian soil factored in, though. because I know they don't count the Breeders' Crown Start, so I wonder if that's going to be the case. I'd have to double check that. That part to me might be a little bit interesting, but she's going to lead the way because I don't recall how much other money she made here on Canadian soil, right? She did the bulk of her racing in New York.
Mostly New York.
That part I think is interesting because if the Breeders' Crown Starts don't count towards the O'Brien Award voting, especially if you're if you need 3 starts.
How come that is?
I don't know.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah,
so
especially
when the O'Briens are on Canadian soil.
So now that I'm thinking of that, I wonder if that purse number. I mean, she's had a great campaign. Yeah. I wonder if it must be
inflated.
It might be inflated.
Maybe.
If they don't count towards Canadian starts, then should it count towards earnings? I've got to double check and read. See, you see something and it gets you thinking. But one thing that we know for certain, she had a really, really strong rookie campaign, and obviously gave Matt Bax and Todd Ratchard a huge moment in their careers as well.
Storybook love with the storybook ending.
Yeah. And we'll get a chance to see that stretch drive as well. It was a wicked stretch drive because Todd had the option to go outside. He elected to stay inside.
Risk.
Split second decision making. And you always talk about so many times. You love sometimes just riding the cones.
Right, stay there.
Stay there, and sometimes things will work out. Look at Todd here. I mean, again, he had a chance earlier on in that mile to angle out. I mean, not at this point, but earlier on to follow some cover.
Yeah.
And look at him trying to stick handle here and find a seam up the inside. You could tell right away she had trot.
I bet you I'd love to know what was going through Todd's mind here.
Yeah.
Like he does all this work, finds, and now he's got open track. You know what I mean? What could go through his mind, you know? Unbelievable.
Yeah,
just a great drive. Great job done by the Baxes again, too, you know? But again, though, and as great as she is, okay, I'm not 100% sure, even though I think that she fits that clause in the O'Brien Awards better than anybody. Who did the most for Canadian racing?
Yep.
I think this one did. But if you ask me who the deepest of the bunch is, I'm not 100% sure if they were all right on their absolute best, if I wouldn't lean a little bit more towards Flowing Tribute, and if I wouldn't lean a lot more towards Sugar Packet.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that those two were pretty special horses, and then they just their season ended quickly. This one, she just sailed right on through it. You know.
And you mentioned those two, Sugar Packet on that list, Flowing Tribute, but number 2, Bingo Night, who
Oh,
had a really nice provincial campaign. We had some really good fillies that we got a chance to watch here locally, Randy, and again, Storybook Love. How about Todd? Obviously, traveling to getting the opportunity to. He's gotten the opportunity to not only drive for Matt Bax, but to travel to the States to drive some of his charges. Went to New York to drive Storybook Love just leading up to the Breeders' Crown there in some New York Sire Stakes events. I think maybe the Big Apple it was. And then afterwards, he lost a drive on Absolution. Look, because he had to. He didn't lose it, but he just had to forego saying, "I'm going to not drive my top pacing mare, but I'm going to go drive a Grand Circuit filly."
Good decision.
It worked out for him, right?
Yeah.
Got the drive back on Absolution.
That's right.
Obviously,
But it was a good decision.
Great decision and a big moment for his career. So again, cool for them to pick up their first Breeders' Crown victory together. But we're going to look at Bingo Night because she was
Team
number
Jones
2 on this list, though. And listen, some tense moments in this super final victory as we get to see the stretch drive yet again. But I tell you what, one thing we know for certain, this filly, you could tell from the very beginning when Tyler Jones drove her from the outside, he shot out of there with her from the outside, got the job done. They knew what they had in her.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of this was the drive. He had the 10 hole and he knew what to do with it. You know, he took it. He took a lot out of the out of play. He put her right up near the close, followed a good one, and then come out in the head of the lane. It was just a great drive. Way to go, Tyler Jones.
All right, so again, 3 finalists this year, right? They upped it to 3, so we could see those top money earners there. Storybook Love, Bingo Night, as well as Flowing Tribute being third. Again, just a deep group, right? We're just showcasing some highlights for the top 2 money earners, but again, a really deep group, and each and every one of those fillies, Warren, obviously, high recognition here because, again, a really nice group that we got to see this year.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to next year.
Yeah, really.
Because none of them got beat up. You know what I mean? None of them got over raced or anything like that. We should come back with a really good group next year too.
All right, there's a look at the 2-year-old trotting filly division as well as the 2-year-old pacing filly division. We'll preview a couple of other divisions here tomorrow as well. But we're going to start previewing tonight's action. We're going to go right into our feature event here this evening, Randy, the $40,000 open trot. Unfortunate that safe conduct is going to be scratched, which means we're going to have a field of 5 going postward here. Just makes things that much easier for Logan Park tonight.
Yeah, no doubt.
And no show wagering as well here in this race, by virtue of the very short field. But again, you're just going to get an even shorter price on Logan Park if that's the direction you're going to go. And I find him tough to beat here in this spot, especially with the post relief.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It's going to make it, tougher to beat him with safe conduct out of the equation too. But, listen, Hasty Bid can beat him. I'm not going that route. I'm going Logan Park here, but I'm saying that Hasty Bid could beat him. And the big thing is that if this race gets turned, if he lands on Dougie's back and this gets turned into a sprint, I think Hasty Bid can sprint with any horse, any trotter out there. I would never put him, he's going to beat Logan Park on the outside or overpower him. No, I don't think that that's going to happen at all. But if Logan Park goes out of there and decides to chop this mile and James lands on his back with Hasty Bid, I say that Hasty Bid could out-sprint him. I've seen it. I've done it. And right now, I think that Hasty Bid is cracking good. So I'm going to go 3-4. Let's take a look at the replay of Logan Park on November the 23rd. And huge effort in here. And like what I would say, close to unbeatable in here, but I'm telling you, I think that Hasty Bid, if there's a horse that's going to defeat this horse in here tonight, I say it's going to be James and Paige McDonald's Hasty Bid. So let's take a look at Logan Park here. Great drive by Christoforou here. It doesn't often cut it out with safe conduct, but really kept the focus going, had Jody put away with What About Elmo. You can see that's who he's tracking, and here comes Dougie, and Greek sees him coming out of the corner of his eye, but it's going to be too late. On the run out, Dougie's got him. He's going to be even more powerful, I think, tonight. So 3-4 or 3-6 is the way that I'm going to go. I'm guessing that you're pretty well the same.
I'm the same as you, Randy. 3-6, and I'm going to use What About Elmo underneath here.
Ooh, Plaucha. Look at his exactor.
He's got Mr. Bluebird. I thought he raced well.
I did too.
Can't remember if I had, What About Elmo in for third or fourth, but nevertheless, again, just a good draw to work with. He can, leave out of there and secure a pretty good trip, but I'm just all in on Logan Park here. I think he's going to get the job done. He's going to be a single for me in that pick 5 sequence, and that's just the way I see it. But I really would love to see Hasty Bid land on his back and see what kind of scare he could give him tonight.
Yeah, I would too. And the other thing is I agree with Plaucha. I think that Mr. Bluebird is really starting to get better week in and week out. And we've seen this with Collins before. Maybe sometimes they don't automatically start winning in their barn, but after 3 or 4 weeks, if they start to really look good, I think you're going to end up with a pretty nice horse.
And he's a pretty nice trotter, that's for sure. And again, I think if Kevin's thinking is that why not find some value underneath, right? A lot of people are going to be going 3-6, 3-5.
Right.
Why not try and find some value underneath in a short field in that exacto?
Smart move.
That's our look of race number 2. We're going to move on to race number 4. That kicks off the pick 6 sequence. Got a field of 10 going postward here in this spot. And Job Hunter got the job done last time out. A picture-perfect trip. I can't say she's looked the best that I've ever seen her in that winning effort. She probably should have won a little bit more comfortably. Nevertheless, she got the job done, and I think she's going to be even sharper coming into this effort. For me, she's a single here in this spot. Another good draw to work with. And I'm just expecting another winning performance tonight.
I agree. The only time that she looked weak was when she first came back off of a layoff. Every time that she races, every that 7-day rotation, she's only going to get stronger. She's a better horse than an optional 12-5 claimer, and she's certainly going to be a lot better than an 8-11 straight-up claimer in here. She's got the middle of the gate to draw to work with. James is going to come back. I think that they can go multiple ways if they want in here. But what's really interesting, what I think that's really going to set her up too, is the fact of the one that draws to her very outside, Cora. They tried to chop with her last week. Now, really, her lines haven't been that good other than when she's been over at Flamborough, but they tried chopping with her last week and almost got the job done. And I think that it can line up exactly the same way, 6-7. So let's take a look at Job Hunter's last race, where she sat right on Cora's back and was able to get the best of her down the lane. Only a last quarter and 30 seconds in this race, but again, you're dealing with 8-11s in the winter time. So again, I think it was a decent kind of an effort. I think that they can build off of this, and the fact that James comes back only entices it to me, because he's just such a smart individual. I think that he's just going to come out of there with Louis, let Louis do his thing up front, and then go from there. And here we go like I said, Cora with Louis, James coming on the outside with Job Hunter. And I know she only wins by a half a length, but I mean, at no point was I worried, and no one's really catching her from the back either, you know what I mean? So I just think that each week she's going to get better and better.
You know what's not shown in some of these race lines, because they can be deceiving, is the starts prior. She's had to be used a few times, and she's a lot better when she either gets a nice trip or gets things her own way. Like, she's had horses to her outside that Doug's had to just say, you know what, I started this mare up. You're going to be hung out to dry. I think I think Job Hunter, and when Doug was aboard her 2 starts back, he hung Jody out to dry in that effort. 3 starts back, she had to be used a few times, and she kind of tired late in the miles. So last time out, while she was 1-5, it's not often you see James sit in the 2-hole with the 1-5 shot. But again, you know it best. You don't have to race horses sometimes to what the odds board says. Like, she's 1-5, that doesn't mean you have to cut it per se, right? And I think she needed a trip like that. Maybe she wasn't her strongest, but she wasn't faring too well on the engine. So the fact that she was able to follow a live horse, and James said, you know what, I think that this mare is going to take me to the head of the lane, which she did. I think this is the trip that's going to maybe better suit her tonight. And that's why I think she's going to be even stronger this evening.
I agree with you. I think she's going to keep getting stronger and stronger. And as long as she keeps going into these kinds of classes, she's going to be almost impossible to beat.
You could see a sweep of 6s there on the board. I have a tough time finding anybody else, unless they mix it up.
Yeah.
And she's on the brunt of it.
Right.
I just
or she comes at sick, or just not her night, or something like that.
But
that could happen.
I feel pretty confident, like you, just going all in with her.
Form is fantastic.
Yeah, it
right
really
now.
is
getting
good.
stronger.
Yep. All right. The Job Hunter's the way that all of us are going to go, and we're going to move on to race number 5. That's going to close out this early pick 5, and this is a pretty competitive way to close things out, though, Randy. There's a lot of horses that I think there's a couple horses that really caught my eye with the way they raced last time out. I was so close to maybe making New Rules a single. He's going to be my top pick. I didn't want to go all in on him in the pick 5 sequence, because I actually am going to go with a few singles in legs 2, 3, and 4. So I figured, you know what, let me have a little bit of coverage in this closing leg. But New Rules, though, I remember watching the race in studio here with you, and then I said, who was that on the end of it? And he showed some pretty good wheels. I was impressed with him.
Yeah, I was too. Really, really impressed. So, deep field here. Only a non-winners of 15,000, but boy, oh boy, I mean, you show me some non-winners of 15,000s over the course of this season that are any tougher than this one. This is a tough race, no doubt about that. I'm going to single New Rules. I absolutely love the way that he raced, and for the longest time, he spent a lot of time up in the open trot, and then he had some time off. He's worked his way back down again, and then when last time he was in the non-winners of 12,000, he was a winner in there for Chris Jr. and a good winner too. So now Travis Henry has just recently taken over the drive on this guy. He's had him twice in the open. So let's take a look at Travis Henry and New Rules in that last race. And like I said, that's a very sneaky line. It just kind of looks kind of average. Third quarter in 28, last quarter in 28 and change. But guess what, John? You and I both know different. This guy was rolling on the end of it. So there he is on the outside now, probably close to 7 lengths out of it, I would say. Where do they have him at the head of the lane? Yeah, they got him out of it by 6.5. So, again, right at this point, not really doing a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Jody angles out off the rail. Now, this guy's going to start to get interested here, or the rest of them are going to start to get tired. I don't know what it is, because now he moves out, and now he's going to start to apply a lot more pressure on the end of it there. I thought it was a good effort. Now he's going to drop from that open class in against all those good horses into here. He's going to have a couple of tough ones again. Quebec Hanover on the inside. Pemberton, we used him last week there. He's moving up. Nazy's still in here. Our Peaky Blinders. Usain Hanover from the outside. A lot of people are going to use him. I'm going to go New Rules. Where do you go?
I went New Rules as well, but I included Usain Hanover in that pick 5 sequence because I think he's got the speed and the ability with the right trip. He's going to be a big factor. And Louis goes his direction. That was his choice of 3 in this race. I'll tell you what, that replay that you showed as well, I thought Nacy had some sneaky good trot last time out too. So I wanted to include him in this race because, look, if he leaves out of there and secures a pretty good trip, who's to say that he can't get the job done? I think New Rules, off that effort, he's the one to beat in this spot. I have seen him throw in the odd clunker.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I said to myself, if I have 3 singles in the middle legs, I don't need to get too cute in leg number 5. But I do agree with you. New Rules is the one to beat. You could see that we have a split between Maneri trainees, right? New Rules as well as Usain Hanover. Garnet and Plowcher going Usain. You and I both going New Rules. But look, a pretty nice group, right? Our Peaky Blinders, he's in a better spot. He's got a better draw to work with. Pemberton raced really well last time out. it's just been a while since we've seen him kind of step up against these types. There's a few horses dropping out of the Open. I just don't know if he's going to be ready to pop up with a winning effort tonight, per se.
Yeah. Now, I mean, would that be Scotty's choice on Quebec Hanover as opposed to our Peaky Blinders? He drove them both in their last start, our Peaky Blinders in the Open. Both of them were in the Open because I went Quebec Hanover. I think he's a little sharper now than our Peaky Blinders.
I wonder because Louis listed on both, so I wonder if Scott had his choice over
Did he have a choice? You know what I mean? Because I think that Quebec, I got him in for third. I think he's a little sharper right now.
All right. So obviously Tyler Borth doing a lot of driving for Ben as well. So but nevertheless, I think live drives that they're going to be able to pick up, but it's a competitive way to close out that early pick 5. We're going to move on to race at number 9 here tonight, and that's going to be the final. That's going to kickstart the last couple of races this evening. That's going to be the first half of that late double. Got a field of 8 going postward here. Morning line favorite being the 4-horse Cheddar Bay. Was really intrigued to see what he could do on the big track last time out, Randy, and I thought he made a good account of himself because that was a really good effort.
Did he ever? And Peter Core starting to bring a few more horses here. Said it last week. When he starts bringing horses here, take a second look at them because they usually do race good. So let's take a look at the replay on Cheddar Bay. Raced in the preferred at Flamborough on November the 23rd. A real nice effort. Look at that. Spent a lot of time on the outside. Ended up finishing third in there. And now going to come up with this effort in here. So let's take a look at Cheddar Bay in that his first appearance at Woodbine that I've noticed him lately anyway. So good effort. Going to have some big wheels on the end of it. Wildcat Rocky, it's tough for me to put him in for second. I mean, I think that this horse is really getting close to a winning effort, but then I got wondering to myself there too, is it just that he likes to be second right now? That 1 for 12 so far this year is pretty glaring. But here we go with Cheddar Bay and Daryl Thiessen way on the outside with this guy. He's got to pass them all plus a few more because he was actually, quite a ways out of it at one time. But boy, oh boy, big horse, and he is just going to continually throw these wheels down. The closer he gets to this horse up top, now he really starts to put the pedal to the metal. And nice effort in there. So I'm going to go with him in here. And I don't know. Yeah, I did. I didn't single him in my late pick 5, but I did single him in my pick 6.
Okay, yeah, Cheddar Bay. Obviously, I think that start over the big track is definitely going to help him. I used him underneath. I think he's a big contender here. I went to Larceny only because that was his first start in over a month, and then he ended up getting parked the entire mile. That's a tough trip, especially when you haven't been racing in a little bit. So I think with an easier trip, I think he's capable of a bigger effort, but Cheddar Bay, I think, will likely go off as the race favorite in that spot, and I think he's going to have a great opportunity to get to the winner's circle. I thought he was going to get there because I was waiting for General on My Mind to tire. General on My Mind was sharp that night. I don't know if he's going to get to the lead as easier as he will tonight versus last week, but man, that was a game effort. When's the last time we saw him, go start to finish like that and take pressure throughout?
Yeah, well, especially on the front, right? The week before, he raced good, off the pace.
He did.
But it's been a long time since we've seen him chop a mile like that.
Sometimes the start before he showed a little bit of life. And it's funny, but again, that 0 for 32 or 0 for 31, that was glaring for me, but he showed more life that start than I've seen in quite some time. And sometimes even that little bit gives drivers confidence to say, you know what, I'm going to put this guy in play.
If I'm not mistaken, back last winter, just this last winter, wasn't Colin Kelly driving him quite a bit for Luke and racing him from way off the pace, and he'd come flying on the end of it? Like I said, it's just been a long time since I've seen him be put on the front put on the front in that kind of a way. Like, he was good.
He really was good, and he's 10-1 right now. Still 13 minutes to post before race number 1. We're going to move on to race number 10. That's going to close out the action on this Sunday night. A competitive way to close out the card tonight, Randy. I think this is a pretty tough race. Wanna Be a Big Star is going to take a lot of looks because he is plummeting in class here tonight. He's got a better draw to work with, but we know his racing style. He needs trips to work out in his favor. Now, maybe he can float out of there from post number 4 tonight, and that's going to be a benefit from him. I think, again, you don't want to be too far back, and this draw is going to definitely be a benefit, but I do think this guy's susceptible to getting beat tonight.
He could, but what happens if he just rolls him on down the road?
If he's aggressive with him, it's going to be tough. I completely agree with you.
I think that's, I would have to think that is the plan that he's going to go with there. I mean, he doesn't need to race him from off, and he doesn't really need to race him in amongst them. I think that if I'm not mistaken, I think that this horse does have the ability to chop a mile, or at least leave anyway. And if he wants to chop it, I say roll him on down the road and see what happens and take all the other stuff out of play. Sometimes it's nice just to, and the other thing is too is he's not been winning, and you know me, I like horses getting tired out on the front end. Then go back to the way that you were racing them before, and a lot of things can happen. So let's take a look at Wanna Be a Big Star. That last race had the 9-hole, gets away towards the back of the pack again, has good wheels on the end of it, but again, any horse should have good wheels on the end of it if they're not being used the first half of a mile. And that's what's been going on with this guy. And I think that Travis is in a situation here right now with a horse that's got a mark of 50 this year and $90,000 put away. I say roll this guy down the road. I think he'll be the best. And you can see Travis here down on the inside, the side to side going. He can't go anywhere with him. All he can do is just sit there. There's no way to get to the outside. There's no way to get any way through there. You can just find a small line through there, but there's just nothing that he could have done. So all the way down the lane, he's just sitting there on him. I say roll him on down the road and see what this guy's made of.
Look, with this horse in particular, if he draws the outside, just tough to factor him as a win candidate. And albeit against tougher company as well. The softest group that he's taken on in quite some time, because look at the likes who he's been taking on, right? Arbitrage Hanover, what you're looking at, Captain Fear Not, Waffle Blue Chips. Pretty good horses, and this guy's got some wheels on the end of it. I opted to play him underneath. I'm going to give Living the Beach Life a shot. I think this guy's better than what he's shown as of late. I'm going to have to hope that effort pops up tonight here, but I do find it intriguing that, again, Louis booking off a couple of rivals here, and we do see him drive for Victor Putty, but like a glove. He's intriguing here in this spot. Sergeant Slaughter, couldn't you say that he's been sharper than Living the Beach Life, but Louis going that direction? So he's had success with them in the past. I'm hoping that they can kind of reignite some of that those prior efforts tonight in the finale.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, because this guy dropped down 2 weeks ago. Remember, we were on him right away, but the other Victor Putty horse, I think Legion Sealster, he dropped it the week before, and he came up with his win. And then this guy, it looks like he's now sitting on a win. I got him in for second. Quickly before we go on, because I really wanted to ask you this there. In for fourth, I threw Highland Beach Lover in there. Did you give him any thought? There's a lot of changes coming in on him. Blinkers to open. They're going to put a side roll on the inside with this guy. First time Malik Smith.
I did not give him much thought, but I'll tell you what, he's definitely intriguing. Definitely enticing, because we saw Madrid off the claim for Malik Smith get the job done. We've seen other horses off the claim for Malik Smith over the course of the last couple of months. Exactly, get the job done. He's got the speed and he's got the ability, but again, which version are we going to see? We haven't seen the good
and the James part too.
Yeah. Post 10, we could see look, if he leaves out of there from the outside, which we've seen plenty of times in his career, he's going to be a big factor here.
I think so too. I just one that I think a person should be kind of maybe make aware of that.
I think you're absolutely. I didn't factor him in. I might end up regretting it, but I'm going to go Live in the Beach Life. You're going to go Want to Be a Big Star. But again, like I said, he might be a class dropper, but I still think this is a pretty competitive way to close out the Sunday night program. Speaking of some multi-legs, we're going to look at some ticket ideas. And Randy, let's look at your early pick 5 first. Let's see how many singles you got tonight. I thought I outdid you with the 3 singles. You got 4.
Anybody can afford my ticket
That's
you know?
Right.
Okay, so it's going to be single city tonight, because I really like every one of the ones that I got singled in here. So in the first race, State 1, Smiley. He's, I like him in there. Race number 2, it's going to be Logan Park. I would have to say that that's pretty safe. Now race 3, even with the scratch of the 6 horse, my top pick is going to be the 9 horse from the outside. You know what I mean? But it's tough to put all your marbles sometimes on That's What I Said from an outside post.
Okay.
So I'm going to all this one, because it's just been such a cheap job. Hunter, again, I singled. I think that she is a single in race number 4. Now this one's going to be tricky. New rules. I chose to single in here, with the way that the ticket mapped out. If, technically, I could add a couple on there if I wanted to and still have a reasonably price ticket, but I'm cool with no new rules being up on there. I think that he is in a class where he should be able to make some noise.
You and I taking different approach in race number 3, but I'm in agreement with you. A tough race, but I'm going to go all in on the 4 horse. Outlaw Gran Torino. I think that horse is racing pretty well, so I'm intrigued with what he can do here on the big track. I've liked his efforts over his last few. Nobody else really stands out to me. There's a reason you're hitting the all button. There's nobody that completely stands out to you. So for me, I say to myself, you know what, this is a horse coming in from Flamborough that has been racing sharp. I'm going to go all in here and just try him. But I do think a couple other ones, if they bring their A game, what pick of genre are we going to see?
That's the problem.
We don't know.
Too. I got him in for 4th because I agree with you. Which one are we going to get?
Yeah, race credit. Where's he going to get away? That's what I said. I thought, like, again, he raced well over at Flamborough. We've seen good efforts on the big track from him. If he leaves out of there and sits a trip, a lot of question marks here, though. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to go with the horse that I think is arguably the sharpest coming into this race, and I'll go all in with him. Agree with you. Logan Park single, Job Hunter single. I wanted to give myself some coverage in leg 5, and I wanted to give myself some coverage in the opener. I think this Dave Kelly charge. I think this horse raced really well. Catfish Jack. I think one that if they mix it up, why can't he pick up a pretty big piece on the end of it? General on my mind obviously merits respect, as does State One Smiley. Better on ice, though, taking some support here tonight, though, Randy. Co-favorite at 2-1 right now. One that I didn't really factor in, but he's taking early play.
Yeah, no, I didn't really factor him in either, but another stable that doesn't spend a lot of time here in the summer, the Fritzes, but when he starts bringing them in the fall and through the winter, you always got to give another look at them.
And he fits in this group. He really does. I mean, I didn't factor him in, but he definitely fits. All right, there's some pick 5 ticket ideas, and let's look at some of our plays of the night. Randy, you're up first.
Okay, so we're going to start mine. I'm going to be the middle half of the card. My all-in's going to come in race number 4. That's going to be Job Hunter. Race number 5, Waples Watch. New rules. We showed you that replay. The favorite is going to be Doc Houston. Multiple moves in that last race for Doc Houston. And worth a look is going to be Tricky McWicky coming along in race number 8 the 8 hole.
How good was Doc Houston last time?
Yeah.
If he's on the engine, though, he might be real tough to pass. I mean, he fought tooth and nail last time out. My all-in's going to be Logan Park. My spot play, Outlaw Gran Torino. My rebound's going to be Larceny. Went too deep in that pick 5 leg there, but my finale factor, living the beach life. So there's Randy's thoughts. There's my thoughts. We're going to look at some resident handicappers and their thoughts and selections. Kevin Plauch's spot play is going to be Usain Hanover. Gislan Paquette, his due for more Flash Cube. Garnet Barnsdale going Wildcat Rocky, his spot play. 5 minutes to go before we kick off this Sunday night program. Randy and I are going to be here all night long to preview all of tonight's action. Good luck.